Nintendo has a lot of big games coming up soon. We got obviously Pokemon Sword and Shield in just a couple of days, but on top of that, we got Animal Crossing New Horizons coming March 2020, and a few other games, namely Metroid Prime 4 and Breath of the Wild 2, coming near off in the future. We don't really know how far in the future, however, a recent rumor from a very reliable source states that Breath of the Wild 2 could be coming as soon as 2020, which is a lot sooner than I personally thought. So we're going to break down this rumor, the validity of the rumor, and why this is really important and huge for not just Breath of the Wild fans, but Nintendo fans as a whole. So hey guys, it's Thomas from the Switch Stop.
And PJ, and today we're going to be talking about the rumor of Breath of the Wild 2 coming out in 2020.
So welcome back to this episode of Rumor Report. Here at Rumor Report, we basically just talk about random rumors that are circulating the internet, give our take on whether they are credible or not, and overall just talk about how it impacts Nintendo as a whole. Today's rumor comes from New Wabi Sabi on Twitter, or just Sabi as he is kind of called, and basically this guy is incredibly credible. He's not just one of those games journalists who, leaks things and everyone believes them, and they're not always true, but this guy actually got sent a cease and desist by Nintendo for leaking E3 2019 games. If you remembered seeing headlines about that, like back June 2019, this was that guy, and I was personally following him on Twitter at the time. He was leaking just a ton of stuff that all ended up becoming true, so I would go as far to say this kinda can be classified as a leak instead of a rumor, just because this guy is, really credible. He's definitely the number one in terms of leaks, at least in my opinion. Anyway, let's get into what he actually said. So basically, he tweeted out saying, "I would tell you Breath of the Wild 2 is planned to release in 2020, but Zelda release dates are historically delayed internally or publicly." He then responded to his tweet saying, "This isn't speculation, just current plans." So someone named Cameron Billings was trying to clarify this tweet, so he responded asking whether this means it's currently scheduled for 2020 and if we should just all take that with a grain of salt, and Sabi responded outright saying yes, that is what he meant. So basically this means that, according to him, Nintendo is internally looking to release Breath of the Wild 2 in 2020, the next year. That's huge because obviously we did not know that prior, but we also barely know any 2020 game, rumors, just considering that, Zelda games are typically delayed.
So with that, as we see that he says that Breath of the Wild is planned to release in 2020, and most of you are probably assuming that this is going to be a holiday title if it does come out in 2020, and I'll agree with you there. As Thomas just alluded to, we don't really know anything for 2020 yet other than Animal Crossing and Smash DLC, so this is definitely good to see. Obviously, Breath of the Wild was widely considered one of the best Zelda games of all time, and a sequel to that is just pretty much really good looks. So
yeah, as you mentioned, we only knew about like one pack of Smash DLC and New Horizons, that's it, coming 2020, but both of those also have to happen within the first 3 months. New Horizon, obviously, unless it gets delayed again, which I doubt it will, is coming March 2020, and the Smash DLC has to be out by February as stated in the fine print when you bought the Fighter Pass. So, we don't know anything beyond that. We also know of, I think Tokyo Mirage Sessions coming out January, but once again, nothing beyond March, and obviously Breath of the Wild 2 wouldn't come in those first 3 months, so it just helps to kind of plan out the rest of that year because we really know nothing heading into 2020, which isn't something Nintendo does often, so it's nice to try and piece together everything just so we can know, what's coming out when and all that.
And I wouldn't quite be opposed to Breath of the Wild being delayed or pushed to early 2021, as everyone can obviously see on Twitter recently talking about Sword and Shield and how it's been laggy, and a lot of people have been seeing this gameplay that looks very choppy in cutscenes, and a lot of people praying for a first day patch fixing most of these things. So for me, I'm a person that I don't really care when the game comes out as long as it's polished and there isn't any sort of first day patches needed. So if Breath of the Wild 2 came out in this March sort of window, sort of like Animal Crossing is for right now in 2020, I would not be against that whatsoever. but Breath of the Wild 2 in the winter of 2020 seems like the more likely option as of now.
That's true, and Sabi actually stated in his tweet to not rule out a delay just because Zelda games are typically delayed. Specifically, Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild were both delayed, I believe. However, Breath of the Wild's development time was mostly spent on developing the Breath of the Wild engine. All the physics, all the materials, everything took so much time to develop. However, obviously Breath of the Wild 2 wouldn't really need that development time because they're presumably using the exact same engine. So it's like it might not get delayed. I don't know. Like Majora's Mask didn't get delayed, and that game was developed entirely in 9 months. Obviously, it's been a lot more than 9 months since Breath of the Wild 1, but then again, Breath of the Wild 2 is looking to be a lot bigger of a game than Majora's Mask. But it's still just worth thinking about that they're not making an entirely new engine, so this game might not have to be delayed. So overall, we think that this rumor is probably true because the source is incredibly credible, and it's actually pretty important to plan out the remainder of 2020. However, we want to obviously alert you all to not only take the rumor itself with a grain of salt, but even the person quote-unquote leaking this information says to take it with a grain of salt because Nintendo does typically delay Zelda titles. So all that is basically what we wanted to say. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you kind of think maybe this is too early for Breath of the Wild 2, or you think 2020 is reasonable, let us know down there and we'll make sure to discuss with you guys and just generally have a discussion about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
Once again, guys, thank you for watching the video. Be sure to leave a like and hit subscribe. We are just about 6,000 away from 40,000 subscribers, and at 40K, Thomas and I are going to be announcing something very special for the channel, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to follow both of our Twitters along with joining our Discord. All will be linked below. And this is PJ from the Switch Stop.
And I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop, signing off. Peace.